Tripod about fell over. Wait till I see myself. So the fiber optic people came today and got me hooked up, and I had to reset my whole mesh thing again and go around everywhere and redo that. But last time I did a speed test out here, I was doing, let's see what I got. So I was running about I was running about 24 upload, and then also like 6 upload and 24 download. Now I've got 243 on the download and 264 on the upload. So hopefully we won't have any problems. We'll see. What's up, Abraham, TPG, Matt HMM, Wacky Wayland, Denny, Jason Grower, Konnichiwa. I think I saw Clint Coe up there earlier. I was trying to get caught up some way. Y'all already talked for too long. I won't be able to get caught up on everything, whatever y'all said before. But I was just seeing who Ray's apartment maintenance was in here. My favorite step stool in the background. Yeah, it's like if something happened to that, I'd go buy another one like today. And if I ever find another one on sale, like, because occasionally I've seen them for like $60. Like if I ever see any of them on sale, I'm gonna buy me another one just to have one in case something happens to that one. What flavor Monster? This one is the Ultra Blue Hawaiian. I haven't seen it I've seen it like at the dollar stores around me have it and the gas stations, but I've not seen it like in the grocery stores or anything like that. It's okay. I mean, it's good. It's not my favorite. Like, I'd still put the guava one above it for sure. And then I kind of like the this one here. Yeah, these two right here, actually. I've got two here. These two are probably the ones I drank the most. Is it double-sided treads? Yeah. And the biggest thing is I've got a video for it, but like it just unfolds like that. There's no like it's just got straps. So like if it's folded up, I don't know if it's in the so if it's out like that and I want to move around a room, like whenever you pick this up, it closes, so then I can easily move around the house and then just, open it back up, climb up both sides like this. It's real easy to move around somebody's house with it. What's up, Clint? I haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, they had it at Lowe's for a very little while. I ended up getting mine on Amazon, but it's pretty expensive. Like if you buy it normal price, I got mine on sale. And then whenever I bought mine, I think I still paid $100 for it. But at the time I bought mine, if your Lowe's had them, they were on clearance for like $60. And my Lowe's has never had them. But now they're like, they're quite a bit more on Amazon. It's a Little Giant, and it's called the Sure Step or something like that. Yeah. Little Giant Sure Step. And it's got a 375-pound rating on it. And I'll even stand, I stand like this a lot on it. But then like I can even stand on, that. But even this, I can get 8-foot ceilings and stuff like that all day long. But like I said, the biggest thing is moving around the room. You know, you just pick it up and it folds up. I had 2 questions. Let's see, Little Giant 100 to 150. I've seen it 89 at the cheapest, Abraham said. Yeah, I saw it $60 at one point in time. Good, it can hold my FA. Let's see. I'm going to go to those questions. What step letter is that? It's Little Giant Sure Step. I've got a video a long time ago. It's back whenever I first started the channel. I'm going to go to my photos real fast and pull up the questions that I had. So, quad socket. I had 2 questions on the quad socket. That way I can get into these early. DS Armageddon 666 said, since the shafts should be interchangeable, can you use the magnetic end on your flip socket shaft to provide a magnet to the quad socket? I think the 1/4 inch might work, but I figured the spring would be fighting against the 3/8. I have no clue if it would work. And I'd already kind of thought of it, but I didn't think of it like while I was filming the video for the quad socket to ask about it. But so I don't know how well I'll be able to get this on the, I have to come around there. So again, flip socket shaft has a magnet on it. Quad socket one does not. They are the same shafts as far as, you know, the spline drive and all that kind of stuff like that. So you can use your flip socket shaft. So if you've got a longer one or whatever, but the magnet ends up being way down in there because the shaft only goes to about, zoom is not working out right. The shaft only goes to about right here. So your magnet's going to be nowhere close to, even if you put something in there and push it down, it's still not close enough to the magnet. But even then, that spring would be fighting against it, basically wanting to push whatever the fastener is out. So you won't be able to, that magnet's not going to help you any, because the magnet's setting basically like right here. So no matter how you get that fastener in there, it's never going to get close enough to hold with that. And then let's see, what was the other question? Oh, I had a couple people ask, Wim104 did too, but I didn't screenshot his. But David1338, and then also Wim asked the same thing. But I bought a different flip socket set that arrived today. Found a problem. I found that it is good for the bolt heads, but the clearance for undoing and tightening nuts with the exposed bolt thread was very tight. Only allowed a few threads. There's the rest of it there if you want to read it. But basically, he's asking, how would this quad socket work as a, you know, nut runner and not just putting in, because in my video I just showed putting in like a head of a screw. You know, it works well for that, but how much threads actually would go down inside of that if you used it on a nut? And I looked around the garage for a little while, so I think this is a 7/16 here. So if I use the 7/16 and put the nut in there, I think this was 7/16. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Let me get a screwdriver so I can put pressure on it. Use one of my Klein cold screwdrivers. I'm going to screw this in until it bottoms on that shaft. It actually goes fairly decent amount, but it's also going to depend on how thick your nuts are, how big a nut you got. So right at that point, as I'm screwing, you can kind of start to see that nut coming out. So that right there, I mean, that's quite a bit. And that's on the 7/16. So that's the bigger of the sizes. So essentially, that's also how far down in the shaft your magnet would be too. It's going to be hitting right here. So that shows you how far away that is. So if you had a thicker nut, you know, you're not going to have as many threads, but that's quite a few threads. I was actually pretty surprised. Let me get a tape. So you're looking at about 3/4. I hate YouTube doesn't have it to where I can just do about 3/4 of an inch to 7/8 of an inch as far as the top of your nut. So quite a bit. And it's basically about the same on all of them. So however far, because once you push actually the 1/4 inch, once you press down, it might be less though. Let me see. Let me go with the smaller one. So that was the bigger of the two sizes. I think I had something that was a 3/8. Well, that's going to be the bigger too. I had a 5/16, so we'll do that one. Yeah, so here's a 5/16. We'll see how much we got since that's one of the smaller sizes. It should be about the same though, because you're still going down in there. It's pretty much this whole entire screw. So I'm starting to see the nut come up. So right there, you can start to see that nut come out. And we'll see what we got on this one. Yeah, so 7/8. So pretty much about the same. I'd say you can plan for 3/4. And again, if you had a, you know, thicker nut, you got to factor that in. Like if that nut was a lot thicker. But you're right, at 7/8 right there. So you can use it for running nuts on threads to a point. That was the only 2 questions. So now that I got them out of the way, let me go see how far in the weeds I am. Wonder if they make an aluminum version. It's pretty light. I don't know how much it weighs, but I mean, it's not heavy. I might say it on here. Let's see. It's 2 foot 2 inches, highest standing level. It doesn't have a weight on it. Anywhere, but it's not heavy. Of course, I'm a man. That's what she said. Going goes the fastener. How big is the shaft? Boing. Doubt that fits in strut. I saw Tools and Tactics had a video. The 9/16 I know didn't fit inside a strut because that's what he was complaining about it. I'd rather have a dedicated socket. I pretty much really like the Klein magnetic. I meant to get those out there in my. I'll grab them real fast. They're in my SBLD. I'm a big fan of these. Really, I mean, I like Malco's, but as far as if you want to run threads, I'm gonna change this over for the Willy Wonka Runts box. But these hollow, not the ones with the 1 bar that are just nut drivers, but these are hollow magnetic nut drivers, so you can use them. Let me get a 5/16. So you can use them for this, and it's magnetic. And you can also use them for this and run threads up inside of them because this is hollow like right there. So these are the ones I end up using more than even flip sockets and stuff if I'm not swapping around a lot. That's why I keep these in my bag, because the magnets are actually pretty decent on those. This is like science. Sockets are so you can attack a nut with threads. I don't see an aluminum version. Yeah, I don't know if I think that's all I've seen that little ladder in. I don't think I've seen it even in a different color, look, or anything. Have you received the an SC45 yet? No, I didn't buy anything to get a SC45. I bought 2 bags, and I got the SPMC with both of them. Hope this one is 2 hours. Oh, I got to get my caught back up. Anybody got the infrared MCP? I didn't end up getting it. I probably would have. I ended up getting the Tech Pack MC instead because I got a good deal on it on Acme. They had that sale going on. So that's the only reason why I didn't get the MCP and went ahead and bought that, because I got the MCTP as the main bag that I was wanting to buy this year. And then the MC Tech Pack MC I got just because of the deal and because spring promo was going on. What's up, Project Pine Hills? It's starting to get warmed up in my area. I worked outside today and it was hot. I think it got up, in which the sun was just beaming on me too, but it's supposed to get up to close to 90 today here, which some of y'all have already been having that, but it's 82 in the garage right now. Normally, you know, this time of day, it's not that hot out here, so it's starting to warm up. Wacky's got the Tech Pack Blackout, but I don't know if it's worth trying out. Yeah, I think based on getting like the Tech Pack MC and all that, I think a Tech Pack would be way too big for me. I don't think I'd want to use it. Again, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, that's probably a really good bag for a lot of people, being a backpack and that you can hold a lot of stuff in it, but it's too big for me. Some ways investing in sharpening gear. Anyone got their hands on the new packout rolling drawer toolbox? Andrew Shan asked. I've seen pictures on some Facebook, like Milwaukee deal pages and stuff like that, but I looked at my store. My store did put out the little the packout that's kind of like a wall mount that holds screws, and the little drawer slide in and out and those kinds of things. My Home Depot actually had one of those. I was pretty surprised, but I don't have any use for one of them either. But no, I actually looked around for that because my buddy's wanting a rolling drawer box. And so we were looking today, and mine doesn't have it, but that doesn't surprise me that mine doesn't have it. High 59, Matt said here. Sweaty today, Kiltronic said. Yeah, I worked outside today cutting. Actually, I threw them all away, but I might have had one that I left in here. Yeah. So on shutters, they give you these little, they're called shutter locks. You know, they're push pins. This one's cut off, but you drill the hole in your brick or whatever, you push these in. It's kind of like a barred fitting and holds it. And customer had a bunch of, it's a 2-story house. It ended up being 144. So I went in with an oscillating tool because several of his had broke right here and were just coming in and out. And it's basically because of heat, like expansion and contraction. The sun just beams this side of his house. So I took an oscillating tool and stuck it behind the shutter and cut these off flush, and just pulled this end out and then left the rest of that plastic in the hole to be like a dowel. And then I drilled a small hole inside of that and then used black Tapcons. And the only reason why I used black Tapcons was because he wanted black screws, and that's the only black exterior grade screw that I could find, you know, locally. So I did that with a washer to kind of be the same size as this head. So changed out 144 of those today, and it was fun. And some of the some of them are really hard to get to on the second floor just based on the landscaping and all that kind of stuff. Little Giant Sure Step, 10.6 pounds. That sounds right, because I want to say in that video I say how much it is because I looked it up or something, but I couldn't remember. It's been a long time since I made that video. Everywhere I see it says sold out, pack out. HD has it on their website, but unavailable. Yeah, I've only seen like a few pictures of it. I'm sure they're going to be, going as soon as people can get their hands on them, because anytime stuff like that, even if somebody doesn't want one, they buy them and put them on Facebook and all that kind of stuff if they're hard to get. You said you work on computers. I'd like to see what you have in your bag. Matt said, oh yeah, I sent Matt a video. We were texting back and forth earlier. I sent him a video of me cutting the shutters. Waiting for the drawer toolbox. Last thing I want for my pack outs. I would have bought one had I not found that Klein adapter to go from my single drawer to that, but I'm not going to probably buy one. Maybe later on down the road I will or something, but I'm not going to mess with getting one during the mix of it. Now, if there's some buy more, save more later, and I can get a good deal on one, I might go ahead and get one, but I'm not planning on getting one. Need a 2 drawer, 1 shallow, 1 deep. I'm going to sell my tech pack. It's just too heavy breaking free, said. Yeah, I can already tell you that I know that I wouldn't want a tech pack. But again, that's for people. There's certain people out there who it wouldn't matter because you just want to pack one bag with you and you need a lot of stuff, then that's the perfect bag for you. It's just for how I work. I don't need it. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I haven't even got my MCTP, which I haven't been using my MCT blackout for a while either. I was using my SBLD, and I had planned on I'm going to swap to this, and I thought I'd have to go back to 2 bags, but I fit so much of my SBLD, it really surprised me how much I fit in the SPMC that I hadn't had time to load out my other bag, but I've had all my other tools with me. So really my SPMC in combination with my pouches and stuff, I can get by with those 100%. Now, how I'm going to use my MCTP is holding some diagnostic stuff with some tools and stuff like that. So it's going to be more of a specialized bag, but I probably won't still use it all that often. But if I didn't have 10 pouches in my truck with different sets of tools, then I wouldn't be able to carry just a bag like this. So again, it all just depends on what you do. I'd have to have a bigger bag. Got to use my Knipex Cobalt cutters this week for cutting steel cable. Much easier. Yeah, they're crazy good. I haven't used them. I don't remember what I did with them. Actually, they might be in here. Yeah, I bought this pair, the 10-inch pair. I bought these and I've got all the wire shelving in my enclosed trailer, and I haven't went back there to try it yet, but I bought these with the intent of I've got to install wire shelving in that entire quadplex. So I'm hoping that this right here will cut them so I don't have to, come either take big cutters or take them outside and hit it with a grinder or whatever else. My smaller ones may have even done it. I don't know, but I went ahead and bought me a big pair. But I haven't got them out because I haven't had a need for them, but that's what I bought them specifically for. I probably need to plug up my battery at some point in time. So been dealing with major floor joist breaking in my commercial building. Opened up a can of worms. Called in another contractor. 3 guys worked all day to move furniture and demo the floor. Yeah. Subfloor stuff can get fun. Ceiling grid wire is perfect. The 10-inch is the best. Thinking no, ordered Snap-on Talon grips and their shipping costs. I also ordered 4 double-gated carabiners from Veto, and shipping was $19 for carabiners. Yeah, it's for whatever reason, like I can even find something at a place, and with the shipping, it'd be pretty similar to the cost of some other place that has free shipping. That's the way House of Tools is. Like House of Tools has free shipping on everything. but their price is a little bit more than like Acme tools. And sometimes I could get the same thing at Acme Tools and pay the shipping, and it ends up being about the same cost of House of Tools. But for whatever reason, I just can't stand to pay for shipping. Tech Pack Blackout's a little over 30 pounds. Yeah, that's not too bad, 30 pounds in it. That's kind of about what my MCT and all that kind of stuff weighed whenever I fully had it loaded out. 12 foot by 22 joist changed out. 121-year-old building. Yeah, there was a building on the square in the city that I work in, like the downtown square, like the main middle, been the first buildings that would have been there whenever it was when the town started. And they were putting in a nail salon in this really old building and then putting apartments in the upstairs for an Airbnb. And we went in there and did like the grid ceiling and some trim work and stuff like that, me and my buddy. But they ended up like, it was one of those where as soon as they started tearing into the floor, they ended up gutting that whole, like the whole entire building inside of it, had to take it out and do all sorts of stuff. It was gone. And it's crazy, like whenever you expose a floor like that and it's been used for a long time, you're like, I can't believe that like this hadn't fell in at some point in time. But it's bad everywhere, but not bad enough where in conjunction with it all together, it was still holding on. Andrew Shan, I love the SPMC. I keep my most used tools on my tool belt and use the SPMC for my less used. I pretty much use my MP2X or MPMX. And then if I'm working like moving around a lot, like if I'm doing something where I'm constantly moving and I don't want to have to go back to my tool bag and grab tools two at a time, type thing. But if I'm going somewhere and I'm going to be sitting at something and working, like if I'm going to a unit or a panel or something like that, then I take my bag with me and just pull out of my bag. So that's kind of how I do it a lot of times. But the tools that are in my MP2X, I can do just about anything. It's just not as efficient. You can get by with a lot less tools than what we all have in our tool bags if you really need to, type thing. But sometimes I just like using different things. Are you going to switch to micro lamb beams? All right, he's asking you. What's up, Ray's Apartment Maintenance? Anybody receive a free bottle opener and electrical tape holder from Veto? Yeah, I've gotten quite a few of them. I've got the keychains and stuff for all of them, and then the tape chains I didn't even fill out to get them this last time. But then I got an email for my second SPMC or something or other about one, and I decided I've got a bunch of them. I'll do whenever next time I do a giveaway and we do the questions. Maybe if Miss Maintenance comes out here and we do the questions like we did before, I'll have some of that stuff. So I decided to go ahead and tell them to send me another one because some of y'all were saying you like using the tape chains. I had a bunch of them laying around here somewhere. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's, keychain, tape chain. Cause I don't ever use these. I typically don't like a lot of stuff hanging on the outside of my bag. Bottle openers. Cass Gill, sorry joining late. Hope everyone's well. How you like the SPMC? I love mine. Wish I had one more inch of a deeper base, but it's really great. Yeah, if it was a hair, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Again, the whole purpose of it is to be small, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings if, they would have done just a little bit more just to make it so it's not that. But it's been okay where I put it in my truck and stuff. It's been holding up, it doesn't tip over. And even sometimes I keep mine in between my drawers and my door, so there's really nowhere for it to go. But every now and then I pick it up out of that space and set it up on my platform in front of my drawers because I'm getting stuff out, and then I forget to set it back down there. And even while I'm driving, it still hadn't never tipped over yet. But I like it so far. You can do the work with dollar store tools not well, but you can cause a lot of damage. And you don't have a 3-pound sledge, I really recommend you get one. I just bought a, y'all can let me know if it's is it Hadler or Hadler, like a soft face hammer. Um, man, Hadler. I think it's Halder. I don't know if that's a good brand or not, but I was looking for one for putting in this baseboard because my other hammer was every now and then. Normally, I just take a block of wood and use a hammer and hit the block of wood to keep from messing up the face of my baseboard. But I kept doing it, and then I wouldn't have a block of wood by me, and I had my little Weehaw hammer, and then I just go ahead and hit it. So I ordered me one of those. What is the best option to store all your overflow larger tools? So just for me in my work life now, in my garage, I've just got a bunch of big tools like in drawers, like my file cabinets and all that kind of stuff. And if you're talking like larger tools, table saws and all that, I keep them on shelf. But in my truck, I've got a 2-drawer pack out, and those drawers are big enough to hold like my Knipex Swedish pipe wrench, hammers, the regular, like your 15-inch type pry bars, those kinds of things like that. Stuff that, isn't going to fit in a tool bag. And I also wouldn't want to carry them around in my tool bag because I'm not going to use them all the time. So the 2-drawer works pretty good for that. And then bigger power tools, I keep in like a rolling box pack out. I don't ever take it out. I just use it because it's got that lid. I just throw those in there. But that's how I do it anyways. But Halder, I think that's it some way. I know it's spelled something like it. It's got like a cast iron head, and then they've got replaceable heads. You can buy all sorts of different heads for it. I picked up the 40 millimeter version or something like that, I think. I don't have it yet. I've got it ordered. Halder, the German hammer, they're the best. Okay, well, that's what I ordered. I looked around. It was on sale, and it was a little bit more expensive than the rest of them, but it was on sale for a pretty good price, so I went ahead and ordered it. I like the fact that you could buy different heads for it. It's my flooring and paver hammer. I do individual canvas bags for a lot of power tools with accessories, never lose stuff. Yeah, see, that's how I've got mine in my deck drawers is I've got Milwaukee bags with power tools, and then so I'll have my impact, my stubby in one with like sockets for lug nuts and tire changing, like stuff that I'd use with it. Like even the ones where I've got like my jigsaws, I've got my jigsaw blades in there with it, all those kinds of things. So then it keeps all that stuff together, and I don't have to go around my whole truck getting blades out of one place, tool out of one place, all that kind of stuff. I still will carry extra blades and stuff in my truck, but I always put some with the tool so I don't have to go dig around a lot. So I just made a short today. I was in Home Depot and picked up the 7-inch Milwaukee USA. I got the last pair of these that they had for $20. I've been wanting these for a while just because I like the look of them. And the fact that they were 7-inch kind of intrigued me because sometimes I think most of my Knipex are all like 8-inch. And I like them. But sometimes this might work for a smaller pouch setup. Or it just frees them up to where, but let's see how this is. Yeah, that's not bad. I know it's going to cut zip ties easy, but I'm going to see what it does for the... So I don't know if any of y'all have had the Milwaukee USA of these. So far, these and the Lyman pliers I think I've got. Yeah. That's the only USA pliers I've bought so far of the Milwaukees. These are still a little tight, but they're not bad. I mean, they're easy to move with 2 hands. That's pretty nice. You can get copper brass heads for those German hammers too. There's people that make aftermarket hardened tool steel heads, as long as you have the cast iron head version. Yeah, the one I got's got a cast iron head. It said it was. It's like a reddish color too. I like the way it looked. Because I was between getting that. They had an S-wing for pretty cheap, but it was one of those where the heads are just on there. So once you wear them out, they're worn out. And they had a Vaughn one that I was looking at that the reviews were really good for. But then I found that one, and it was one of those where the price was quite a bit more. But whenever I clicked on it, it had different sizes, and one of the 40 millimeter size was on sale for like it was like 35% off or something like that. I ended up getting it for like I think less than $30. Quick survey. How much money has this channel cost everyone here? It's cost me a lot of money. Actually, I would have bought everything that I've bought. I pretty much would have bought anyway. So, but you guys clicking on affiliate links and all that kind of stuff, y'all do give me more tool money. So I appreciate that. I switched to the 6-inch diagonals from Knipex after using the full size. I haven't missed them at all. Yeah, I typically like the angled versions. They're probably in here. I need to clean my tools in this bag. They're dirty. Oh, so these are Kleins, but I typically like the angled ones better, and they normally only come in the 8-inch ones for whatever reason. So I got Knipex ones in my MP2X, and then I've got these in this bag. So yeah, my tools is getting dirty. I did swap over, I think in my where I swapped my SBLD tools over to my SPMC. I was running the Impact 11-in-1 all the time, but I decided to swap over to this. I've been running this 17-in-1 because I was looking for more bits because I didn't have a lot of bit storage in that bag, and I really like the shaft in this one, which you can take this and put it in anything else. You don't have to have it in here, but this has that 5/16 and 3/8 combination. Wim was talking about that with me on something else too. So, but I like the bit holder on this one is just a bit holder. It's not a move this up and down to get at the right spot. So those are the 3 most used sizes for me. So I've got them all on there, but I also get some bits inside of it. So this is kind of replaced my Impact 11-in-1 for now. I don't ever use this end of it much. I wish that this was, I almost kind of wish this was a 1/4 inch nut driver on this side, because I normally carry 1/4 inch stuff. That would make it more useful to me. I never really have 3/8 sockets much in my bags. Bought a pair of those Milwaukee 7-inch. US Milwaukee needle nose suck. Yeah, I like these needle nose that Clint got me. They're pretty nice. These are tight though. I might have to work on them. Guy emailed me. Man, I wish I'd have remembered what his name is now. I think it was Thomas something. I'd have to look it up and see. I can probably, let me see if I can look it up on here actually. See what his name was. I want to say it was Thomas, but I could be totally wrong. Tobin. Started with a T. I was close. Tobin, and I'll say his last name wrong, but it's Ant Passat or something like that. But he sent me an email telling me that the super slick stuff was being closed out at his Lowe's for $4.77. So that's good and bad. That means if you go to your Lowe's and they got this, you can get it on sale for $4.77. but that probably means Lowe's is going to quit carrying these just as soon as I found it. So now I'm going to have to be stuck back at ordering it off Amazon, which is still cheaper than Houdini even on Amazon, but it's stinks that you won't be able to get it at Lowe's. My Lowe's doesn't have them. I had the time I picked mine up at Lowe's, I ordered them, shipped them to my house, and I picked them up in another town while I was there working type thing. So, but I'm saying that if you all like using it or you like using Houdini, you might go to your Lowe's and see if they've clearanced it out for $4.77 and get you a bunch of it. Switch to 7 1/4 cutters. Morgan cost me a bunch of tool money. 6-inch Fujisa. I was trying to say it wrong how you had it spelt, and then you correct yourself some way. I bet I've spent thousands since watching this channel, but I'm glad I did. I like tools. What can I say? Impact 11-1's my favorite screwdriver. It's typically the one like I will grab and throw in my pocket, like if I'm going somewhere type thing. And like I said, I've normally always carried it in my bag just because I like a multi screwdriver in my bag instead of putting a bunch of screwdrivers in there. But I just couldn't find anywhere to put bits in that thing, and I'm like, well, this handle's got bits in it. I like this, okay. So 6-inch step cuts can handle super thick stuff. Yeah, the step cuts are pretty good. I think mine are small ones. Actually, I don't even know where mine might be in my extra tool out of my MCT blackout bag over here. No, they're in my truck. Yeah, I keep my step cuts in I don't keep them in my bag, but I keep them in my truck drawer. What's the super slick stuff? It's basically Houdini. It's just a cheaper, it's the same, made by the same company, smells the same. I've got a video called What Am I Now Using to Clean My Tools or something. It's not very long ago because I just found it. Somebody emailed me and told me about it and said it was the same thing but cheaper. So I found some, and Lowe's was actually carrying it, but they quit. I'm assuming based on their marking it down, they're going to quit carrying it, but I don't know. Doesn't get all the credit, but I probably dropped around 1,000 when you include the pack out. Roy Phipps said he gets his at Ace. Yeah, I think that's the other place that guy, he told me, he said if I have to, I'll start buying it at Ace, but he said it was a little bit more expensive at Ace. Did you know Annex makes a great ratcheting screwdriver? No, I can't believe nobody's told me about that. Thinking, no, I've got over 1,000 in Veto alone, mostly because I'm indecisive and like options. It's not like I can go to the store to get my hands. That's what I've always said, and that's why I've tried, because I bet I ran the same tool bag before I bought a Veto bag. I bet, because I basically went to Home Depot or Lowe's and found I had a little Husky bag I used for a long time, and I bet I had the same tool bag for years. And then I bought my first Veto pouch. I think I bought the TP3 first. And then I bought the 4B, and then I bought like an MCO tote. And then, because I had a bad thing with the backpack, so I kind of was leaning away from getting any of those. And then I decided I'm going to go ahead and try that MCT. I got the MCT first. And then like the next year, they came out with the MCT Blackout, and I liked the pouches that were inside of that. So I was like, well, I'm going to get that. And then ultimately, I was pretty happy with the MCT to be my bigger bag, but I kept wanting to try all those little smaller bags because I bought a TPXL, and I didn't really care for it because of the same reason of this, except for it just was a little bit, I didn't like it as much as I like this bag for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the way it opens or what. Didn't like it because it was tippy. And then I bought the TPLC, like that. But then now they come out with the new smaller bags. Those are the ones that always pull me in. Like I want to try the smaller bags. The big bags, I'm pretty happy with the MCT Blackout. Now the MCTP, I don't really, those pretty much are everything that I need in those kind of a bag. But the small ones, they make little bitty changes in it, and you're like, man, that might make a big deal. But I also sell, like I've sold the MB5B, I sold my TPLC, I've sold my TPXL. I gave my buddy my other SPMC that I work with all the time. I ended up giving him my second one. Let's see, what else have I sold? I've sold, man, I haven't sold a lot of them, but I've sold some of them. $9 at Ace. Yeah, so that's not too bad because it was like $7 and something normal price at Lowe's whenever I bought it. I will say that of the thousands that I spent since watching the channel, I have a significant amount of money with all the saved a significant amount of money with all the tips and tricks. I filmed. I was going to film the shutter thing that I was doing today, but man, it was so hot and it was pretty sketchy. Some of my ladder situations, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to hear the feedback from people on, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. So I was like, I'm not even going to do that. So, but I did film. I changed out. I did a ballast bypass the other day and changed out to LED. And then I also put together some furniture. I've got that footage on my iPad, but I haven't had any time at all to edit it, do any voiceover or anything like that. I've got the guess the trade stuff I just filmed before I started this, so I've got it on my iPad sitting there waiting for me to, because it's supposed to start storming late tonight and then rain on and off tomorrow. So I was like, man, I got to get that filmed so it starts raining type thing. But yeah, I've been super busy working, and then the internet guys came today, so I had to run home, let them in, let them do their thing and all that stuff. And then I had to reset all my mesh stuff again. I just did all that. And then that makes me, anytime I redo it, reset it up, like I have to go around, do all my cameras, do all my switches, do everything. It's a crazy ordeal, but it's going, I guess. I guess y'all haven't seen any lag or anything, I'm assuming, yet. So hopefully it's, like I said, I was at 20 megabytes upload and like 7 or 8 upload and 20 download, and now I'm like 280 something on both of them, so it should be like significantly better. But nothing wrong with affordable pouches, different products for different consumers. Yeah, I've had all kinds of pouches in my lifetime, but like a Joey pouch, I love them. Like I used 2 of them. I actually used a Joey pouch, and then I used the DB Sacks today. I had my Tapcons in one, and I wore 3 pouches today the whole time I was working. I had on my Atlas vest, and then I had on a Joey pouch with Tapcons in it, and then I had a DB Sacks with black washers in it, and then I had my big Klein bag with my Mad Pack on my backside. So every time I was cutting these off and pulling them out, I was putting them in that bag so that I could throw them all away and not be all up in their landscape. And then I was having to swap back and forth between short and long Tapcons, so I didn't put all the washers on there first. So yeah, I love pouches, but tool pouches is what I was getting at. Is I haven't found anything better for me to just hold hand tools than the MP pouches. I mean, again, they are super expensive. Not everybody needs one or anything. I mean, I don't need one. I can get by with another one, but I really like them. And I can't imagine like how much longer they last. And a tool pouch to me is one of those things, even different than a bag, that if you can find one that you love and like that, it will last, because you start to get muscle memory with a tool pouch, like what tool goes where and why you're wearing it and working with it. That it's a bigger difference to me to change a tool pouch than it is a tool bag, because I'm doing a lot of work a lot of times with a pouch where I don't even look at it. I'm just sticking my hand down there. I know where that screwdriver is, or I know where that pair of pliers is. So it's a bigger deal to me to change that pouch more often than it is to change a tool bag. Houdini can't be ordered anymore from Lowe's in my area. Yeah, Lowe's used to have Houdini, like probably my Lowe's did maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, and then they quit carrying it. And then there for a little while, they had it in little bitty cans, like about this size, which isn't nothing for me. I'm like, I don't even want those. I always went to my locksmith and typically bought it there. but I bought some off Amazon too, just because sometimes I didn't have time to go to the locksmith. Because the locksmith in my town's kind of, it used to be close to where I used to work at all the time, but it's kind of out of the way from most of my neighborhoods and stuff that I work in. So I'm not really out that way. It's kind of like where my Harbor Freight is in my town. I don't go there that often because it's just kind of in a weird spot that I don't go by very often. I'm not giving up my Husky tote. Yeah, I had a Husky tote. I can't remember. I mean, I had it for a while, so I'm sure it's not one they're selling now, but it was pretty good. I opened all my Veto boxes and left home. My garage looks like a Veto showroom. But I will say I'm getting along with my MCTP. Yeah, I love looking at my MCTP. Like I said, I'm not using it yet, but it's it's a beautiful bag. Yeah, the ladder police noticed. Yeah, you wouldn't. Two of the windows that I had to get to, there was really no good way, or two of the shutters. So the house had a porch in the middle, and then the two windows that were like right where the porch was, the shutters on this side, there was no way for me to get my ladder, and I couldn't. The roof was short enough that I couldn't get up there and get anything on it to be able to work on that shutter in particular. So I had to basically put my ladder to the bottom of the window and then put my platform on the very top of my ladder. And I mean, I was standing on the top of an extension ladder, the top rung on the platform, holding onto a brick and using a SDS drill, which I had my buddy there with me for those. I asked him if he'd go over there while I knocked out the hard windows and just hold my ladder just to make sure. But yeah, if anybody would have saw what I was doing over there, you'd been like, I would have never outlived the comments. Wacky gave away my SBLD from last year. Yeah, that's another bag I still have, and I'm not getting rid of it yet because it was a really good bag. I started learning about nicer tools on the channel and quit buying all cheap, saving the long run, and now I enjoy the tools that I work with more. But now I buy more, so yeah, that's the stage I'm at. And like I try to tell people, and like some of the videos I've made about, my first year as a self contractor, and I'm a YouTube scammer and all that stuff. Because again, I know if somebody watches me and they see the tools I have, you probably think, well, all this guy does is buy tools to make reviews. It's like, that's literally, I would have bought these tools whether I had a YouTube channel or not. I've bought tools my entire life, but I've been doing this for a super long time, and I've been buying tools for a really long time. So I've got a lot of tools where I've sold them, replaced them with something else, vice versa, whatever. But I'm at the stage now where, like what Roy said, I'm buying tools just to see if I like it better, just because I'm a tool person. That's my thing. And it's not that it's just like these today. Do I need another pair of diagonal pliers? No, but the little yellow sticker price told me that I needed some, so I went ahead and picked some up because I've been wanting to try them. And I wouldn't know if these were better or worse. And again, are they ever going? Is any tool going to be so much better that I'm just going to blow my mind? Probably not. Like I could use these and get the same exact work done as I can get with a pair of Knipex ones or whatever. But if I buy one and I'm like, man, these open and close way better than the other pair that I had, or they cut better just slightly, or whatever it is, and now they're in my bag instead of that other pair I had. Every time I get this out and use it, it's a little bit more enjoyable experience. That's the stage I'm at. I'm looking for that. Chris ordered a TP6B. My buddy's got that bag. He likes it. Which I guess, do you get any kind of free bag with the TP6B? You get like a SC45 or anything with it? Matt said he saved a lot on. Yeah, that's the only reason why I bought that Tech Pack MC, because I have no real plans for it other than it's now I've got a backpack at least. So if I've got a job come up where, oh man, this would be so much better if I had a backpack, I'll just load tools in it and take that with me. But later on, if I just change to doing something where a backpack is better for me, I'll have one, and I got it at a good price. So I struggled on whether to get the MCTP or not, and ultimately decided on just getting the MCT blackout. Maybe I should just go ahead and get the MCTP2 and sell the other one. So that's during the spring promotion, like it's what I tell people all the time. It's like, don't just look at, oh, well, I want this bag. Or, I mean, if you can get another bag with it, and even if you decide you don't like both of them, like you order a bag, that's why I almost went ahead and bought the MCP2 and just was like, well, if I don't like it, I'll sell it and the SPMC that I get with it for free, and I'll come out ahead. You know, I can definitely sell them for whatever I had in it. So I'm not going to lose money, and I might even make money to put towards the other one that I ended up keeping. So the spring promotion is a time to buy stuff and try it out. Now you got to hold on to them for a little while to sell them, because most people that buy Veto, you put them on Facebook, they know the spring promotion's going on. So they're not going to buy your bag on Facebook at a, pretty decent price, knowing, hey, I can go buy this from Veto and get a free bag with it. They're not going to. So you got to spend the money up front, hold on to it for a little while, those kinds of things. But I've never had, Veto is one of the few things on Facebook that I very rarely have a hard time selling them. And I normally sell them for pretty good money. You're more productive using the same pouch and keep putting tools in the same spots. Yeah, for sure. I need a backpack for my line of work, but having my meters accessible quickly was the main selling point. Or used to have a Husky electrician's tote, but it was stolen. I loved it. That might have been what mine was. So mine had a lot of pockets around the inside of the tote, and then it had some pockets on the outside, but they were all kind of tight. Like they weren't like, you couldn't really put a ton of stuff in it. And again, I kind of like that. I don't like a lot of stuff on the outside of bags a lot of times, but I found the classic 10 pocket leather tool pouch the most handy of all variants. Have essentially the same setup. Opposite side pouch was changed a few times. Straight to jail. Morgan's maintenance. I don't know what y'all. Oh, or y'all. I might be catching up to where I was talking about my ladder. I'm in the weeds quite a bit. I'm gonna scroll down through here. I might miss some stuff. So if you ask me something really important, I don't mind if you get a little sketchy at work. I've always ladders is one of those things where I'm surprised I've not been hurt, to be honest with you, because I'm a top step up in a grid ceiling. Like, as long as I've always been able to touch something with my finger or whatever else, I've never had a problem on ladders. Now, edges of roofs and stuff, for whatever reason, the edge of a roof, as I've gotten older, used to, I could go out to my gutters and just bend over and clean them out. Let's walk along the edge of my roof. And now, if I kind of lean over an edge like that now, as I've gotten older, it gets a little iffy, like how I feel. But ladders, for some reason, I have no problem being on ladders. If a yellow sticker tag jumped off a bridge, would you? I was surprised at because most of the time the yellow stickers at my Home Depot, Lowe's is worse, but Home Depot, they're really not that much difference. But those insulated screwdrivers, I mean, that was half off, and then $15 off is it's probably like 40% off those. Can you do a little cutting with those Milwaukees? Yeah, let me grab some wire. Some 12 Romex. Some 10 stranded. That ought to be enough. If it'd cut those, it'd cut most things that you're going to typically use those for. So here's some 10 stranded. A little bit of effort, but still cutting good though. Romex 12-2. Yep. It takes a little bit of effort. To that point, it's pretty easy. But then you'll start to see all this start to kick in. Let me get this up like this. Maybe y'all see how much effort. Did you see that? So here's 12 solid, one at a time. Yeah, that's easy. So again, it's a 7-inch pair, so you wouldn't want to use it for. It's cutting that super easy, one at a time. Going through all three at once is a little bit of effort, but nothing that would keep me from using them type effort. I'd say that's probably the max of what you'd want to do is 10 gauge, maybe one wire or something like that. I've got some 6 or 8 maybe over here, but I don't. Let's see what this is. Yeah, here's some number 6. So this would probably be pretty tough. So here's 6. Well, that's actually, other than getting it to fit in there, it feels about the same as cutting through that Romex, but it doesn't really fit all the way down in there very well. Bum, bum, bum. Frankie says, I've upgraded more this year than ever, probably about 2,000 so far, but my business has grown. I just got a Milwaukee nailer. I got a Metabo one, had to take it back. I might put that in a tool haul, so and then that way I can talk about it. Chris had to get the. Oh, I was going to say, Clint. It's funny that my Lowe's has the Klein stuff out today, like 2 or 3 days after I got your stuff in the mail. My Lowe's finally did put them out. I meant to say that earlier. Those insulated screwdrivers are not that great, Matt said. I got them. I ended up. I don't know which set. I think they might be the same ones I did a review for. I can't remember, but I gave mine away to somebody. I'm not a big fan of Milwaukee handles. Like, I prefer the Klein has the grip all the way around type thing. Like even the Milwaukees, that are like this. I'm just not a fan of the handles. Like it's the same shape kind of as a Klein, but I just like the rubber being all the way around on the Klein. Like I don't like the feel of these handles. The Milwaukee ones. Only time I've been hurt on the ladder is when I use the customer's ladders. 3 times I've had ladders kicked out from under me. Cheap aluminum ones. Gadoosh the guns. Is that the Milwaukee USA diagonals? Yeah, it's a 7-inch pair. They're on clearance. They were on clearance. I saw it on a Facebook group too. So it must be at a lot of Home Depots, but some of them even had the bigger pair on clearance. Mine was only the 7-inch pair, and they're on sale for $20 at my Home Depot. And that's what they were at others that I saw too. But others, like I said, the other ones, some of them had the 8-inch pair on sale for like $20 too. But it wasn't like that at mine. My woman has that oversized t-shirt still. Tools and stuff got a hold of the new Makita 18-volt 16-gauge brad nailers, and they edged out the Milwaukee. I like the price of the insulated Milwaukee, but I do like the feel of the Kleins. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Milwaukee insulated. Now, I used to run back before I got into buying, like before I found Vera, before I found Knipex and just other tools. Like I didn't really start finding those. I started watching YouTube like about 6 months before I started my channel as far as looking at tools. So there's a ton of tools out there that I didn't even know, because if they weren't at the stores, I didn't, or on homedepot.com or whatever, I didn't know anything about them. So there for a while, I ran Milwaukee insulated screwdrivers. They always had that set at Home Depot that came with a Phillips, a slotted, and then an ECX one. And so that I bought that set like 4 or 5 times. I probably got some laying around in here in different drawers and spare tool bags and stuff like that. But I used to use those all the time, but I'm just not, I never did really care for them. But that's just really the only option that there was, especially to get an ECX one. Still enjoying your snap-on Talon grips? Yeah, I love them. I keep my smaller pair stays in my MP2X, and my bigger pair stays in my main bag. It's pretty much my needle nose pliers for the most part. I don't even hardly use any other ones. Slim tips. Yeah, the Milwaukee has some slim tips. I like the Klein. It's very hard to beat the Klein. Those, I think that's in my truck. I might have that in my MCTP. It's very hard to beat the Klein insulated with the blades. They got the slimmer tips and stuff too, and it's a pretty good price. And you can get the square, and all that kind of stuff. I like the Klein that takes the blades that come in and out. I want to buy ECX bits to swap out the Torx and the Impact 11-in-1. Yeah, Milwaukee's got some, and then you can buy combo ones of Klein's on Amazon too. But Milwaukee ones, you can get them at the store. You can buy them in just packages on homedepot.com, and they're cheaper if you buy them by themselves. I used to always buy these because they came with one of each in it. I probably bought like 10 of these over the course of time just to get the ECX bits out of them, because that was the only way I could get them locally in my store. But you can get on Home Depot's website and order a pack of just the ECX bits, and they're not that expensive. The 1-inch bits that you can put like in bit drivers and stuff like that. I probably got some in here actually. I don't know if I do or not. I don't see any. Elliot, anyone got the rolling packout drawer yet? No. Nobody I know personally. I've seen it online. Some of Klein's bits are proprietary. I got the Klein, and I'm a big fan of my drawer. The Klein boxes and stuff are pretty good. The big boxes. The organizers I don't like as well as the packout. I'm not used one, like had one, put stuff in it, but just the look of it and looking at the inside of it, and then I don't like it as well. And I wish Klein would have went with something besides the crazy bright orange too. Like I'm not a big fan of that. I wish they'd have done more like gray with some orange in it or something. Down to one skilled worker and a part-time helper. I'm gonna go to the solo operation one time. Yeah, I don't ever want to have employees or anything like that. Only way I would do anything like that, which both of my sons have went to college and graduated and have jobs and all that kind of stuff. But if either one of my sons wanted to do what I do in the big scheme of things, then I would, do that. But I won't ever hire anybody to work for me type thing. Now, I have a buddy who we work together all the time, nearly just about every day on bigger jobs. I help him on his big jobs. He helps me on my big jobs, but we're totally separate from one another business-wise. Like I don't depend on him to find me work. He doesn't depend on me to find him work. We just basically help each other out so that we can do a little bit bigger jobs than what you can typically do by yourself, because some stuff just isn't very efficient for you. I mean, I can do a lot of things by myself, but it's just not very efficient, especially in commercial remodeling, because sometimes there's a time crunch with that more so than residential, because you know their stores shut down or whatever. They want people to get in and get out. So it's worked out pretty well for me to just have that situation. And then once he's older than me, but I don't know that he won't work longer than me. I don't ever see him quit working until they put him in the ground. He just likes to work. But uh once if he retires, then that's hopefully whenever I'll be at the point where I'm just doing service work anymore and I'm not doing very big jobs anyways. Cody loves the orange. Yeah, some people I like, some people like it. I just don't. I don't mind, like that my box has at least got some orange and gray. You know, it's at least, but the organizers I'm talking about, it's nothing but just boom, orange. And that's it. Somebody help me with drill bits, metal, and general purpose for facility part maintenance. Giving up on my DeWalt, don't seem as good as they once were. I have bought so many Milwaukee ones over time whenever they put them on sale, because I go in Home Depot more often than I go in any other store. So that's the real reason why I buy some of the stuff I buy, is just because I'm there, and if I need drill bits, that's what I'm gonna buy. But I have bought just bukus of, I've got, even these are the old ones still that are the pain to get in and out. I probably got like 3 or 4 sets of these where these still have the 1/2 inch drill bit in them. Like, they don't give you that anymore. 3/8 is the biggest size. Because back whenever they put these on sale, used to, the 1/2 inch drill bit by itself cost more than what I paid for this whole thing. So I kept buying these, and I'd just keep pulling these out and putting them in my other cases and stuff like that. And they work pretty good. I don't have any problem with them. Now, I have used a few of the spider bits at Lowe's. I bought some just because I was in there and needed some, and they're not too bad. Those blue ones, they're pretty good. They're not too bad. I haven't used a DeWalt drill bit in a long time, but I've been using these forever just because I've got so many of them. It's not because I love them and they're the best in the world or anything, but they get the job done, and I've got a ton of them. But somebody else probably knows something else. I like helpers for 80-pound toilets like the night before. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm beginning to realize, because it's been a long time since I've done certain things by myself, like moving, like a few weeks ago, I was we were basically moving a tenant from one area of this building to another area. So they were paying me to move them basically, but I was also remodeling the bathroom and adding a sink in their space and doing some other stuff. That was really what I was there for. And then she asked me if I could help them move, and she showed me what all they wanted to move. And the place had an elevator because we were going multiple floors. And at first I was like, no, I can't do it because I can't move your refrigerator and all that stuff. These steps were like crazy skinny. I'm like, I don't even want to mess with that. But then I remembered they had an elevator. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, if I can roll it onto the elevator, I'll do that all day. But even that, though, like, I had my buddy come help me, but I wasn't really planning on him coming to help me. We were both couldn't work at the other job. So he's like, hey, you can go over here and you can help me do this, and I'll just pay you for helping me do this. And had he not been there, it would have been a ordeal for me by myself. Like, some of the things, the desk and stuff. But in my brain, I was still thinking, you can move that desk by yourself. Ain't no big deal. And sometimes, because back in the day, it wouldn't have been a problem for me. But the older I'm getting, it's harder to do that kind of stuff. Not that I'm weak or anything by any means, but it's just different. I'm definitely not 20 anymore. I'm good at the heavy lifting, but struggle on the precision work. Have a hard time holding on to nuts and bolts with my giant hands. Moving keeps you healthy. Get fiber optic internet. Yeah, they just hooked it up like 3 hours ago, and I had to run around and get my mesh stuff all reset. And then I did figure out, so I was doing speed tests, and then out here, it was like close to 300 upload and download. And then whenever I do my speed test on my Google Home, it's close to 300 upload, download. Well, one of my mesh boxes was one of them. I thought maybe had something wrong with it. I moved it into a certain area of my house and replaced it with a different one, because it still comes on, it still works. but it was the one that was my main router for a little while. And that was the times where I was having problems with my internet going in and out here. Well, I did a speed test whenever I was closer to it and farther away from my other ones, and I was only getting like 20 and like 6 on the upload, or 3 or 4. So there's something wrong with that mesh box. So I was kind of thinking that. So now I know that. So I'm gonna have to do something about that and getting that fixed. But it is at least not affecting my garage out here. It's really only affecting the stuff that connects in that part of my house whenever you move closer to it. But yeah, so far I haven't really done. I'm really going to be interested in the next video that I record, how fast it uploads, because like it takes several hours for any video I upload right now on my older internet, but my upload speed was only like, 7 or something like that. And now it's like 300. So I'm curious how fast that's going to go. Spider blue ones are the best ones. Spider bits are good. Diablo has always treated me good, but work supplies us with Milwaukee. No complaints. Yeah, like I said, the Milwaukee ones aren't like life-changing, but they get the job done. So I haven't really like I said, if I find them on sale, that's when I buy them. Linux. If cast iron can't kill them, they will last. Talking about the spider, I think. Moving things is not my vocabulary. I paid the movers to move me. Cost me a bunch, but I don't care. Yeah, I'm getting to, like I said, I was putting together, well, in the stuff I've got on my iPad, the footage, I put together this conference table, and it's not even really super big. And it's more so I didn't have a lot of space in the room I was putting it together in, because every time I go put together stuff at this place, I put it together in this one room. It's the only room they got, and it's super small. So everything I put together, I'm just crammed in there with all the stuff. But even to get it flipped over after I put it together by myself, not as easy as it once was. You hate you'd be surprised how fast things will work with the fiber. You're going to be surprised. Yeah, because I know back whenever I still worked at the place I worked, whenever I first started this channel, every now and like sometimes I'd record videos here, and then sometimes I'd record videos like if I was on lunch or something, I'd record them on my desk down there at work, and then I'd upload the videos on my work computer, and it's in the middle of town, like, and had like fiber internet and super good internet and all that stuff, and it would take like 30 seconds to upload one of my videos, and if I did it at home, it would take 2.5 hours. So I'm hoping that's what it's going to be here. Ray, sanity versus money. You can always make more. Well, I'm also at the point in my thinking, I didn't think this way much whenever I was younger, but I'm almost at the stage where you've got to balance how much I can make going and doing something that I want to do, and then take that money and pay somebody that same amount that would take me the same amount of time to do something I don't want to do. If you've got enough work out there, and like if you don't have enough work, then by all means you got to do whatever. But if I've got enough work and I'm backed up, it's like, and I've got this job over here that I don't want to really do, well, I'm going to go work and do something I want to do, and just turn around and pay somebody to do what I don't want to do at my own house or whatever, to move me or do whatever. I never thought that way much before, but I start to think that way now that I'm running my own business. Like whenever I work for somebody and I just got a paycheck, for some reason that thought never crossed my mind. But now that I manage all my money and do all that kind of stuff, I think a little bit differently. What's up, East One Farms? He says super good internet and mine freezes. So I was freezing up on you. Tell me about the green ladder. I'm looking for a better one. That's the Little Giant Sure Step. And I'm 6 foot tall, and I can reach 90% of my work, because most places I go, The only thing that I have a hard time with this one is if I'm doing I can do light fixtures on 9-foot ceilings a lot of times, but it's ceiling fans. Those the screws that you mount the top piece to the bracket, it's just a hair out of my reach sometimes, only because sometimes you got to hold on to those screws. Like if I had a way to make the screws go in there and make sure they went in right, but typically I can reach most things. So this is the thing I grab out of the back of my truck the most. I said it's 2'2" is what it says on the side. I'm assuming that's off of this because it doesn't say not a step on there. So I'm assuming they're okay with, yeah. So it's 2'2" to here, but it's got the rungs on both sides. So you can, you can be working over here on this side and then decide you want to go over here and work on this side and just swap over. Or you can stand like this and it's a wider base, work on stuff. But the biggest thing 100% is like it's folded out, just has straps, but whenever I pick it up, it always closes itself. So like if you're working in like somebody's little bathroom or whatever, you got your ladder all sprout out and then you got to close it, move around, open it, close it. So I can go from over here on this side, decide I want to work over here, just pick this up, set it back down over here. It opens itself back up. So it's awesome. I love it. I would buy another one at $200 if something happened to this one today. That's not what I paid for that one, but I mean, if I went somewhere and something happened to that one, and for whatever reason they said this one's $300, I'd go buy one for $300. I think I got it for, again, you'd have to go watch that video, but I want to say I got it for around $100, but I think it's more than that now on Amazon. I think somebody said earlier what it was. You manage money, you mean the mighty Amanda. Yeah, be selective on what you want to do and then pay someone to do other jobs. I used to do all my mechanic work and now I pay my buddy to do it now. Yeah, and sometimes that's the way I am. There's certain jobs, if I look at it and I'm like, that's not a big deal, I'm going to do that. But if it's something that's going to be super involved, I'm going to have to take out like 4 or 5 things. It's going to be stressful because, again, I don't do that for a living. I'm sure I can do it, but it's just like I'm going to be worried about it the whole time. And it's like, no, I'm going to pay this guy and I'm going to go do the job that I want to do. I'm going to go, lay floor or do something like that and let him fix my thing. It's all the same. That's one I'll still have to figure out. It's power tools. Men are simple creatures intrigued by a ladder. 123 right now on Jungle Store on Amazon. So yeah, I'd buy that. Like if I ever catch one 100 or below again, I'm buying me a second one just in case something ever happens to this or they quit making it or whatever. Because like it's the perfect ladder for me. I've left it a few times at places because I start like talking to a customer. So it's always the last thing I put in my truck. And sometimes I'll start talking to somebody and I'll have it sitting. I'll carry it outside and set it by my truck. And then they start talking to me and then I forget about it. I've left it like twice. And like I drove and got home and was like, oh, I left that sitting over beside their house in the landscape right there. I need to go back and I go back. I get my truck right then and drive and go get it. Cause I'm like, I'm not losing that. I used to turn a wrench for a living, but I just don't want to now. It's gotten around to where I can do alternators and starters on PT Cruisers, but I have to turn down those jobs. Have you seen a Tech Pack MC in person? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not super big compared to an MCT. So there's a Tech Pack MC. And then here is a Tech MCT Blackout. not gigantic difference. Like so that's why I said as soon as I saw this, I'm like, this is as big as I'd want to go. I wouldn't want to go with the Tech Pack. For me, again, not saying that a Tech Pack ain't for somebody. It's just not for me. Because this was already right at the sweet spot of, oh, that's about the size bag I want. But I wanted a backpack, and the MB5B just didn't work for me. I wanted the two sides of tools. And then I saw this, but I didn't see this until after I'd already bought the MB5B last year, or I would have probably went ahead and got this one. Put that back on there later. The great unveiling. Do you have something Tech Pack size? No, I don't have anything that big at all. I'm not real sure. I've never seen a Tech Pack in person, actually. I'm not real sure how big one even is. But I looked at the dimension here. Let me see what the dimensions say. So let's see, Tech Pack. So 19.5 tall on a Tech Pack, and the MC 17.5, and the MCT. We'll see what the difference is there, because it's probably about the same difference. MCT is 14, so you go 14 to 17, so that was 3 inches difference, and then to 19.5, so about the same. Probably about the same difference as what from the MCT to the Tech Pack MC, and then that same, how those are that much difference. It's basically that same amount of difference, probably moving up one more time based on this. So it'd be kind of like a going from this to this. That same amount of difference that you see in the size of those two, that much more, kind of like the little bit bigger that way type thing. I know that don't really tell you anything, but that's kind of what it, measurements wise, that's kind of what it says. What's up, Randy Juice? Tech Pack is a beast. Mine's 42 pounds full. Tech Pack seems like it'd be too easy to overload. Yeah, it'd be too heavy of a bag for me. Like I said, I wouldn't want to pack it all the time. But if you're somebody who you need a lot of tools and you only really carry it into a job and then you unload it off your back and then just use it somewhere, then it stinks to carry that much weight from your truck to wherever, but it's better than making 2 trips type thing if it's comfortable to wear. I probably need to plug up my phone real fast because it was low. Boop, boop, boop. I got the green light, so my mic should still be working. It is hot out here. I had 3 M12 tools in one side and still had room. Yeah, and then the MCTP, I mean, it's not drastically a different size than a Tech Pack MC, but you don't have the backpack option on it, type thing. It's not super bigger than an MCT, just the width. But these stick out a little bit, so the measurements are actually closer on the dimensions they give you on their website, because they're going from the outside of this pocket to this pocket, so it doesn't make it seem like it's as big a difference, but obviously, you know, looks a lot different than that. And then so the MCP would essentially be, you know, this with these on it, but I think they're also a little, these are a little taller on the MCP than what they are on the MCTP. Put them in the weeds. I'm a huge tool guy. I definitely have the most on the job site. Not a brag, but whatever usually we need 9 out of 10 times. However, I keep them all in a huge gang box. How many bags you carry? My truck is kind of like a huge gang box. So a lot of times, a lot of the tools I carry is out of my truck, and it's kind of probably similar to what you are. And that makes me to where really right now I'm only carrying, I'm still working on this thing and decide what I'm going to do with it. But I'm really only carrying the small SPMC and then my tool pouches for the most part. But that's kind of what I was running before I even bought these. I was using my SBLD and then my tool pouches. But I would call my truck essentially a gang box, and I'm the same way as you. Anybody knows that if they need something on the job site, they come ask Joey. I guarantee you he's got it in his truck type thing. Whether it's tool and even sometimes materials, whether it's, hey, I need some shims, I need some, you know, this, that, whatever it is. That's one fast game box with the 5.0. Yeah, I think I will on my next vehicle. I will probably go with a like Sprinter type van type thing. But I won't get a new vehicle until that one's gone. You know, I'm not, it works for me. And again, in the big scheme of things, I could probably, in what I want to do, whether it goes that way or not, because the problem is what I want to do is just service work and carry a tool bag for the most part as I get older. But I know what's going to happen, because it's the same thing that's happened to me for the last 15 years, is there's a certain group of people that call me and are like, I can't get anybody to come do this, you know, something that I won't want to do when I get a little older, like tile floor or something like that. I don't even want to do tile floor now. I'd rather not, but sometimes I do because they can't find somebody. And so my hope is to not do any of that stuff as I get older, in the next, you know, 10 years or whatever. But whether that happens or not is based upon whether some other people get into doing it around my area, because right now there's not very many people that does it. You can't get a V8 in the van unless it's a Chevy. Travel day for me to North Carolina. Going to see the Perkins Builder Brothers. I just watched what's his name? It's Pete something, that goes around and like just visits towns and talks to people. I think his name's Pete something. I can't remember what his last name is, but I just watched one the other day where he was in North Carolina at the Outer Banks or something like that. But I've been watching a lot of his videos lately because they've been in my feed. So it's been a while since he filmed it. You could be rolling in a Toyota Matrix like me. I like Ray's van though. Well, it's like Miss Maintenance car is a Honda Fit, but I've told her, like I said, whenever we go to get you a new car, I'm still going to keep this one, like, because I'm going to start driving this on the days where I know I'm not going to a big job site and I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I can just put some stuff in that car and drive it, not drive my big truck, you know, and all the stuff and all that kind of stuff, just to save on gas and all that kind of stuff. Golf trip. When I was working, I had all kinds of useful stuff at my desk, flashlight or two, a few tools. We run Ford F-150 trucks for foremen and for service techs. We run exclusively Ford Transit vans. Playing at Pinehurst. We make those vans here in Missouri, Brian Davis said. We had, at the place that I worked at before, it wasn't for the maintenance staff, but they also is a nonprofit, and they'd go out on the road and collect stuff and stuff like that. And they had a couple of the Nissan. I don't know if there's a term for their vans specifically, but that kind of a van. And they seemed like they were okay. I drove a few on some routes to go pick up like food supplies and stuff like that and deliver stuff to people and stuff like that, but never used one to work out of type thing, mostly just moving type stuff. Considering adding the deck box system to my truck bed, would you recommend a single drawer or the double drawer system? So I've only had the 2-drawer system, and I've got the older model. The newer model looks pretty slick. Like you're supposed to get a little bit more of your drawer to pull out, which would be super nice. Not as much back in the back. It's not a big deal because I just put stuff in the back that I don't get out that often. And as long as you're around the edge of your tailgate, you can get back in there fairly easy. It's not that big a deal. But I like the new drawers. They're more square, where mine kind of come in like this. So it makes it a little awkward for certain organizers and stuff like that. So I like the idea of the new drawers. I would, for me personally, just been like, I can't imagine there's anything that I'm putting in it where one drawer I would need like to put something that big. I would rather have my stuff divided up, I think, just because it makes it so that your stuff's not moving around as much and stuff like that. I haven't personally seen a single drawer, but I would just knowing myself, I like, even though there might be something that I can't fit in one of those drawers, I would just like to have, hey, this drawer's got my this in it, this drawer's got my that in it, and they're not moving around with each other and all that kind of stuff. But that's just me thinking right now with you asking the question. I've not used a single drawer. I don't know. I might would love it if I had one. Champ Blaze, you gonna send me some stickers? Did you ask for some stickers? If you've asked for them, I should have already sent you some, and they might have got lost in the mail. So just email me again if you want some. Email me the address of where you want them. I'll send you some more. But anybody that's asked me for stickers and sent me an address, I've sent them to you. That ain't to say they don't get lost in the mail or something like that. So if you just send me your email or send me your address and an email again, I'll send you some more. Wacky, what pickup truck do you guys use for work? Now they're also making toolboxes that fit in. My day-to-day work truck is a 2019 Dodge single cab 4x4 Tradesman with the 5.7 Hemi and a long bed. 350 diesel. Yeah, and if anybody else wants any stickers, if you just email me an address, I'll put you some in the mail. I got a bunch of them still in the house. I think I got some out here to show. Yeah, I've got, these are just some I got out here. I got a whole roll of them in the house. So there's 3-inch ones, which normally I go ahead, like if you ask me, even if you say send me some 2-inch ones, I put some of both of them in there. So I've got 3-inch ones, and then I got, I think these are 2-inch ones, even though it looks drastically different in my opinion, but I think that's what they were, 2 and 3. Klein clock is kind of keeping time-ish. It still got stuck one time though. The second hand did. It's turning now. It did get stuck one more time since I cut that off. What's up, plumbing? Jamie said 4-door Silverado with tools piled up to the back windows. Randy's got the big weather guard toolbox that will fit and holds what I need. I used to have all my trucks before I had those kind of toolboxes, and I made myself drawers in I used to have a Dodge Ram, and I made some drawers and put them in the back. I just made them out of wood and put some sliding things on them and stuff like that. And ever since I made those and put them in my truck, I was like, oh, this is the way to go, because I'm not climbing up in it to get stuff out and all that kind of stuff. So I used those for years, and I actually really liked them. I actually liked them better than my deck drawers as far as the way they work, because I kind of made it so that the face of my drawer was flush with the top of my drawers on the outside. So, and I had like a 6-inch bed, or 6-foot bed, not 6-inch. So I could take those drawers and bring them and open them out like almost all the way. And from the back of my top to the front of my drawers would be like 10 foot, like hanging out. So I could put 10-foot boards and stuff on there, and it would be holding on my drawer. So I used that a lot for that, and it worked out nice. But whenever I bought this truck, I think I bought it in 2016, I didn't have time to make myself new drawers and all that kind of stuff. I was needing something to store my stuff in. I had just saw the deck stuff kind of making its way around the internet, and even though it was a little bit more than what I wanted to spend, this truck, whenever I bought it, only had like 40,000 miles on it. And I'm like, I'm gonna have this truck for a while. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a set of these and spend the money on them. And really, by the time I would have bought stuff to make drawers and the time and all that kind of stuff, it comes out that they're not that expensive. And I've had them ever since 2016. Now, mine have always been under either a cover, camper topper, or whatever. You know, they've not been exposed to the elements, and I've had zero problems, out of mine. You want me to find you some goodies and send you a care package from Guantanamo Bay? I'm doing my drink. Taking me a long time to drink this thing. Some way it's been really sweet for what? Oh, you're talking about the DP3. I was trying to figure out what y'all were talking about. Now I've got it. Some way asked how the DP3 was working out for him. I missed that comment, and then the rest of it was just throwing me off. Seems like the fiber's working well. That's good. Like I said, I'm really curious to see my upload, how that goes. I don't know that I'll notice much. I mean, I'm sure the speed will be drastically better, but I never really had much problem doing any of the things that I typically do on the internet with that download speed of like whatever I had before. Like, I think I had a package where it was like supposed to be 30 megabytes or something. For what I use the internet for, I have no problem with that. Now, the upload thing, I think, is going to be the big difference that I'll notice something anyways. But hopefully it's just less lag and stuff like this and all that kind of stuff. Still waiting on shirts, Morgan. Got new internet. Yeah, I got my fiber hooked up today. They came and dug the trench and put the wire in on Wednesday. And then they told me after they did that, they'd call me and set up a time. And I was doing the work on those shutters, and I got a phone call from the fiber people, and they was like, well, we was just seeing when you might be available. And I was like, well, I don't know. When are you going to be available? And he said, we're actually kind of in your area right now. And I said, well, I'll be finishing up my job in about an hour, but my son's at home. if you're there, you can just go ahead and go there, and he's got to leave, but I'll be there before he leaves type thing. So I was able to get it done today. So it was good. It worked out good because today they were pouring concrete sidewalks on my quadplex. I started doing baseboard work in the quadplex, but they were pouring the concrete sidewalks out in the front. So we weren't going to be able to get into the apartments today without walking through just mud. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. And I needed to go. I've been waiting for a good weather day to do this guy's shutters. He's kind of been on my whenever I have time list type job. So I went and did that today. And that's all I planned on doing today. Good fiber equals smooth poo. Get me a tractor. I got 1 gig up because as a kid I hated when I lagged. Yeah, I only got the smallest. Like they had, I don't remember what the biggest package you could get was as far as speed, but they had 300 was the smallest one. And I'm like, well, right now I've got 30. So, and it's been fine for me. So I'm going to start out with 300 and we'll go from there. But I didn't need anything. I was like, I don't see any reason for me to pay for more because if I'm getting 10 times what I had, I can't imagine I need anything else. I wasn't joking. Pretty sure they got stickers at the exchange. Oh, you talking about the sending a care package from Guantanamo Bay or whatever? Anyone used any of the new Klein pliers wrenches? I've had I don't keep them in this bag anymore, but I was running them in my SPLD ever since I bought them and made that video. I don't remember if I put that back in my truck. So they were in here. I thought that they were in here. I didn't see them earlier. I had to figure out what I did with my Klein pliers wrench. I might have put them in my truck in a drawer. These were the Klein insulated flip blade ones that I was saying that you can't. This is a really good deal, on this screwdriver in particular. And they got the slim tips and square 1 and square 2 that you can get. So this is a pretty good setup to put in your bag. For the price, this is not a bad deal on these, and they work really well. But the Klein pliers wrench, I like it. I don't see any problem with it for the price that I got it for. Now, once it gets up to regular price, if it's not much cheaper than the Knipex one, like I got mine for like $24 or something, compared to like 50 something for the Knipex of that size. To me, I'd buy that Klein at half price. But if it gets up there where you're only saving $10 or whatever, I'd buy the Knipex. What's up, Lexi? I saw that Klein has a 2-pack now. I saw it today whenever I was walking around Lowe's. They've got a 2-pack of, I don't know if it's the Cobra style or a pliers wrench, where they've got them together for $50. I don't know. It was like 2 sizes, I think. Could you cut it up, Diablo? Let's see. Tools and Tactics swears by that screwdriver set. Yeah, for the price, it's a very good insulated screwdriver set. And then those blades don't take up a lot of room in your bag. And it covers a lot. And it works really well as far as flipping them around. Like, it's not hard to do. It's really nice screwdriver set for the money anyways, in my opinion. I mean, you just twist this and that pops out. And all you got to do is push them in. So there's no like crazy working around to get these in and out. Again, now, ideally, I don't really like stuff where the stuff is separate from the screwdriver handle. Like, personally, I like something like this. That's why this Weehaw one's in my bag over here. This will probably be the one that'll be in my MCTP or the Philo one that takes bits. But the one thing nice about this is it's got bits in it. But there's a whole different ball game of having this. It's nice that it's got bits, and I can pretty much have an insulated driver, of all these bits, but this is not going to fit everywhere that I'm going to want it to fit. I know that for a fact, versus if I carry this, even though I've got to carry these around with me, that's the only downside, is like this is already all in here, but it's a better screwdriver whenever you've got this tip on it. Like I pretty much, most of my insulated ones, I want it to have this profile and not this. Because you're not going to fit that in some breakers. You're not going to fit it in certain things. It's just not going to go. I don't want to talk about Klein. Was doing ladder work today. My bucket fell off the top of my 8-foot, and the only tools to get damaged was my Klein 17-in-1 and the 38-piece bit set in the mod box. 17-in-1, I was just talking about how I've moved that over into my SPMC as my multi-driver instead of the 11-in-1. Was the 2-pack, the yellow handle. Now they have a 2-pack of yellow handles, and those are, I know those are like the alligator cobra type, but they had a 2-pack. It's over in the electrical aisle in Milo's, so that makes me think it's probably cobra style, but it could have been pliers wrench. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but it's a 2-pack of orange handled ones for $50. So that still puts them at $25 a piece. If they're pliers wrenches, that's a pretty good price to get 2 of them for $50. Because again, 1 pair of Knipex is going to cost you $50. Did you like them compared to the Knipex? For the price, I like them. If they're not at that $25 price and you get up to where it's close to Knipex, I'd buy the Knipex mainly because, for me, one is, I mean, they feel a little nicer, but I also carry these with me. To put on there, and these fit my Knipex, and Klein doesn't have anything like this. So the smooth jaw protectors, I keep those in my bag, so that's why these have stayed in my bag, and that's why whenever I went to this bag, I carried both of them in my SBLD because I had lots of room. But whenever I went back to this SPMC and I was cutting out tools, that's why these stayed, is strictly because of these. But if I'm somebody who I'm just now starting out my tool set, I've got to buy a lot of tools at one time, and I can get a pair of Kleins for $25, and these are $60. Buy the $25 pair of Kleins, use them for a while, buy you something else, to get your tool set up. Now, if you're in the position of me and you're buying tools strictly for enjoyment factor, and you've already got everything that you need, and you're just wanting to buy the best tool, then buy the Knipex. But there's not a huge difference in performance between the Klein. It's just a little bit better feel, and the jaw protectors if you need to use those. Yeah, it's a 7 and a 10-inch. So that's what you saw them too then for $50. I was thinking they look like pliers wrenches. So again, if you get a 7 and a 10-inch pliers wrench for $50 in the Klein, you go buy a 7 and 10-inch pliers wrench in Knipex, you're at $100 and something, probably $125, $130 or something like that. I mean, that's a huge price difference, and they're going to work fine. Like, they're going to do pretty much what you want them to do. I remembered what I've been meaning to tell you. Anyone, especially someone like me that's a commercial electrician, or anyone that may have to do hot work sometimes. I was going to grab them. Let's see. Pound for pound and not price, I'm asking. Yeah, I like the Knipex ones. I mean, personally, just because I've got jaw protectors for bigger ones and all that too. And I don't know that the Klein ones are going to hold up. I've only had them for however long I've had the video, and I only bought the 7-inch pair. So I wouldn't recommend them as far as for longevity and all that, because I have no idea. But I've had the Knipex ones and been using them since I bought them, for however long I've been making the YouTube videos. And then, so however old my channel is, plus probably a year, I've had the Knipex and been using them nonstop. and zero problems with them. So I can't say that about Klein because I've only had them for a little while. Came across the Volt Claw, which is, yeah, I've got a video for the Volt Claw. It's in my truck. I keep it. I've got a little parts bag that I keep specialty electrical tools in. I don't keep it in my bag anymore, but it's right there to where I just get it out if I need it. I've got both versions. Like they've got one version that's more of a poker, and then they got one that you can kind of go in and grab wires with. There's two different versions of it. When is Knipix going to come out with their version of the snap-on Talon grips? Yeah, I don't know. Be interesting. Volt Claw, saw it here, I believe. Yeah, I've got a Volt Claw video. It was a long time ago. It's been one of my first videos because I might have even had it before I started the channel, and I had it in my tool bag, and somebody asked about it, so I did a review for it or something. I don't remember. I've had mine for a while. The black one's the best, Matt said. That's the one I use the most. That's the one. The black one has a like lever where you can go in and kind of grip around a wire and pull it and not lose it type thing. Yeah, Killtronic said he bought his because I had him on here, used it a couple times. Yeah, I don't use mine all the time, but I use it sometimes because y'all probably seen some of my watch me work videos where I've worked in panels because some people say, oh, you stick your hands in there and whatever. I mean, if I'm really far away from the stuff, I've worked on stuff enough. But if I've got to manipulate a wire to go into something that's back in somewhere, then that's when I get them out. But I mean, if it's right there for me to stick my hand nowhere close to anything else, then I'm not scared to do it. I have all Knipix insulated hand tools, Apex insulated hand impact adapters. I've got those impact adapters too. I don't know that I've got those Apex adapters. I bought the one that takes 1/4-inch bits. I've also got one that takes, I got a couple of, I think I got all of them that are the socket adapters or something too. I don't think I've ever used them yet. Like the socket adapters. I think I've used the 1/4-inch bit, but I bought them just to have them. They're in that same bag with my Volt Claws because all those kind of tools, they're the kind that you're going to come up on a situation, and if you don't have the tool to do it, you're going to probably still decide, I'm just going to do it. And then that's when you end up getting hurt. Like, because if there's a situation, like there's plenty of times I stick my hands in stuff where I know I'm good, I'm far enough away, even though a normal person wouldn't want to stick their hand in there because they don't know what all is going on in there and all that kind of stuff, how it actually works, your panel and all that kind of stuff. But there's certain times where it's like, that's a little hairy. I don't think I really want to stick my hand in there. But if it's a matter of I'm going to have to go and run to the store to get something, or I'm going to have to do whatever, versus I've got this little bag right here in my truck that I've got tools that I can poke and prod back in there, or a socket adapter or whatever. If it's only going to take me 10 seconds to go out to my truck and get something, that's totally different than I don't really have anything to do this with. So I'm just going to stick my hand back in there. That's when you end up getting it. Time to make dinner and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm going to get off here right around 8 o'clock, I think. Anyone reading this, does any electrical work? $20 is cheap. Yeah. I gotta go in here and get in the air conditioner. This spring weather the last few weeks has ruined me. I don't know. Summer's gonna be rough for a little while till you get used to it. Matt's got to go feed the machine. Yeah, like I said, I got to edit the guest the tray, but it's supposed to be raining tomorrow night. So I'm just going to plan on doing that tomorrow night. And then I've got some work stuff. It's not really like awesome footage or anything, but I know some of y'all like watching the watch me work stuff. And I was working somewhere where I was in room by myself, 2 different rooms by myself, 100%. And I've been wanting to try that DJI camera out more. So I was just going to use it anyways, just to see how it worked out with me tilting it a certain way on my hat and all that. So I was mostly just doing it for a trial of that, but I went ahead and recorded it. And then I'm going to try recording. I don't know that I've already been doing some baseboard, but I'm going to try. I'm waiting. I was waiting for this concrete to get poured so I can take my cart in and put my stuff on my cart and start rolling all my nailers around. And I bought a Metabo 15 gauge nailer and had a problem with it. So I had to take it back today. And then I ended up getting a Milwaukee one. I got the Metabo one because it was the deal of the day. It was crazy cheap, but it wouldn't shoot a nail whenever I got it. So I just took it back. So I was waiting to get all my stuff. And then I'm going to try filming, putting in baseboard and stuff once I'm doing it by myself. But I'm also, again, that footage might turn out to be garbage. I've been filming a few things here lately. I've been having a little bit more time and been in positions where it's just me, mostly to try to get the setup of that DJI right. Hopefully one day I'll be doing more work where I'll be able to film myself working more. But it's pretty hard, to be honest with you, time-wise. It's more time-wise than anything, because most of my stuff, I'm pretty busy. And I've got to get this done to get to the next thing, and adding in filming and all that stuff just takes more time that I don't have. It's not that I don't want to film it. I just don't have time to. Hope the rain waits tomorrow. HVAC PM scheduled for tomorrow. Wiley Hansen got his first bag of TPLD. Pretty much what he was hoping for. That's always good. Metabo nailer only needs a shot of air. Mine was the same way. Yeah, that's what they told me, Jamie. I called the Metabo customer service and told the guys, like I said, I've tried adjusting everything. I've tried different nails. I've tried different batteries. I said, and I can shoot a 2-inch nail and there's a 1/2 inch sticking up. I can shoot a 2.5 inch nail. It's a whole inch sticking up. I said, so it's consistent at what it's doing. It's just consistently not doing what it's supposed to do. And he said, yeah, you need to just take that back. He said, sometimes they come out of the factory and they charge it and set right on the air. And he said, I'd just take it back. And he said, you need to just take it back and go get one at the store and try it before you, like, out in the parking lot, and make sure it's good. Cause he said, sometimes that happens in batches. But I told him, I said, I had to order it online. My store doesn't carry it. I had to ship it to my house. I said, so I'm just going to take it back and get a Milwaukee one. What's up, Don Mendenhall? Well, I'm going to go ahead and get off here too. Now that Don Mendenhall's in here, it's time to shut her down. Just kidding, buddy. I was already going to get off here. I got to get inside and get cleaned up a little bit and all that kind of stuff. Spend some time with Miss Maintenance. I've been going pretty much since I got home with all the internet junk and all that kind of stuff, getting that all situated. So, but Saturday, I guess the trade is a Veto MB5B. So I know a lot of people have been asking questions about the MB5B, but that's what the bag is this Saturday, is an MB5B. But I'm going to get off here. You guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll probably see you Saturday in the chat, hopefully. So we'll see y'all on the next one.